Joining our class today. We'll start by coming into a comfortable position. If you're taking a chair position, maybe coming onto your chair and grabbing a pillow or a blanket and bringing it up against your belly, adding a little tactile feeling against your abdomen. If we're coming onto the ground for our practice today, I want to give you a few different options. A great option could be to come into a seated position if that's the most comfortable for you. Or maybe coming into a constructive rest on your back, bending your knees up towards the ceiling. For today's practice, we want to have a little tactile feeling against our stomach. So maybe we rest our hands against our stomach or a pillow, like I said, or a blanket. Another option would maybe be to turn on your side and come into a fetal position, resting your head on your arm, curling your knees in towards your abdomen. And then the final option might be to lay on your belly in a reverse corpse pose, letting your hands support your head. So we have lots of options here to bring us into contact with surfaces, both on our back, our legs, and even our tummies here. As you start to settle in, maybe you close your eyes. Maybe you simply soften your gaze. Letting your breath start to find a rhythm, a steady rhythm. Breathing in and out. Taking just a moment to notice that breath. Maybe your breath is feeling a little strained today. Maybe you have a little congestion. Or maybe you're feeling very free, flowing in your breath. Just take a moment to notice that. And then as we settle in, we'll start to notice the parts of our body that are touching other surfaces, whether it's props, the floor, the chair, maybe even your clothing touching your body. But begin to bring your awareness to where those boundaries transition between you and the items that are supporting you in this moment. And with that same attention to the minuscule details, start to draw our awareness inward, beginning to notice the aches or pains of the body. Maybe there's tweaks, twinges. Maybe you're feeling great, rested, and happy throughout your body. Or maybe it's just a feeling, a bit neutral, neither good nor bad, maybe even content. But as you take this moment to dial into the internal landscape of your body, take it a little bit deeper and notice the emotions present, the mental landscape in this moment. We are always healing and evolving, whether we realize it or not. If you had asked me during my darkest days if I knew what I was going through was deep healing, I would have laughed. But in hindsight, when I look back through my life, It's the moments of the greatest struggle or suffering that also brought my greatest healing. So let us not forget that even if we can't tell we're healing or there's forward progression in our processes, we actually are. And the days when I might feel extra anxious or even sad or depressed, I take those moments to remind myself that even those moments are moments of growth. So as we soften into this grounding meditation, know that in this moment, you are healing, you are growing, you are making progress, even if you can't feel it. We'll start to dial our attention back into our breath. We'll start to take our breathing exercise for today, allowing our tongue to rest against the top of our mouth, against the roof of the mouth. And then as you inhale, fill your lungs up. And as you exhale through your nose, if it's available, see if you can imagine fogging up a mirror just slightly under your nose, if there was one there. This breath has a slightly audible sound, similar to the ocean breath or the Darth Vader breath, but not quite constricting the muscles of the back of the throat. Instead, just keeping that tongue pressed against the roof of your mouth. We'll take 3 or 4 more cycles just like that, your own pace, as deep or shallow of a breath as you want to take. Last one. Allowing your tongue to relax in your mouth, your breathing to return to its natural rhythm without changing it or forcing it. Taking a moment to notice any energetic shifts throughout the body that that breath may have brought in. Great. We'll take this last moment of our grounding exercise to offer your body thanks for what it might have been able to do yesterday. And then release that for today so that you can start to be present with what your body can do today. As you're ready, start to wiggle fingers and toes. We'll flutter our eyes open. And let's go ahead and if you're on the ground, we'll come into a hands and knees position, hands under shoulders, knees under hips. And if you're in the chair, we're going to scoot up to the edge of our chair. Make sure to put any props that you're not using off to the side. We'll sit up tall through our spine. We're going to start this class today with a thread the needle variation. So we're going to start by taking our right arm out to the side and then really exaggerate your twist behind you. And then if you're taking that from the floor, you'll be lifting that right arm up. Now even sink your hips back and see if you can take it a little bit further back. Really exaggerate that opening. And then with our exhale, we're going to thread the needle. So on the floor, we'll bring our right hand between our body and our arm, start to sink our shoulder and ear towards the floor, or even towards a prop, letting your head or shoulder rest on a floor or the prop. And pulling that right arm to the other side. We're taking this from the chair, we're gonna bring it across our torso, capturing anywhere along that right arm with that left arm, and sinking it over to that right side. Now, if this is too much on your shoulder, you can always bring a little bend to the elbow, let the hand rest on the shoulder, and still guide that opening through the outer shoulder with your left hand. Big, beautiful breath. Exhale to release the right hand out wide again, or up towards the ceiling if you're on the floor. And then we're going to take it into a side bend. So we're going to take it overhead and reach it over to the other side. And on the mat, you'll still be in your tabletop. Great job. Let's come back through center. And we'll take our thread the needle in the other way. Left arm comes out or up. Exaggerate it, sink the hips back. Really take it into that twist and open it up. Exhale, thread the needle. Bringing that left arm across the torso, finding that little bit of a twist as you stretch through the outer shoulder, whichever variation feels good for you. Inhale back, left arm out wide. Exhale overhead for the side bend. Over to the right. Beautiful job. Let's come back through center, tabletop or seated mountain. And we're going to come into a cobra variation for our next few movements. If you're seated in the chair, you can either bring your hands onto your lap, or sometimes it can be nice to have a little pillow like we had a little moment ago, just to give you a little more space, a little tummy action, a little hand action as you press into that pillow. And if we're coming down to the ground, we send our legs out long, we slide our hands back by our rib cage or shoulders. And then we're going to take a couple of rolling cobras. So we're going to press into our hands and as gently as we can start to arch through the upper spine, lifting our gaze a little or a lot. And then at your own pace, exhale slowly, straighten the spine, and take that rolling just a couple of times at your own pace. Up and down, moving to the spine, maybe with each option, taking that back bend just a little bit deeper. If you're seated in the chair, it could feel really nice to bring your back to the chair as well and roll over the back of your chair. Beautiful job. All right, last time. Exhale to bring a straight spine. If we're on the floor, we're going to take our hands out a little bit wider and let the elbows come down to the ground. So we're in our Sphinx pose. And from our chair, we're going to stay in our seated mountain pose, inviting that little bit of a back bend in. Don't take it too deep here. And then let's go ahead and take our right shoulder, chin over towards our right shoulder. A little bit of a neck movement here. And then exhale through center and take your chin over to your left shoulder. Go ahead and take that left to right a couple of times. All right, go ahead and come back through center. Drop your chin to your chest, opening up through the neck. And then inhale to lift your chin towards the ceiling. Take this at your own pace, moving through your neck. Great job. Last movement, any movement you would like, maybe circles or half circles. Maybe you just want to hold something somewhere or let your head hang. You're welcome to do any of those things. Great job. With our next inhale, we're going to release into our seated mountain or tabletop pose on the floor. And from here, let's take a 4-count cat cow. As we exhale for a count of 4, we let the belly come forward or down. And as we exhale for a count of 4, we round the spine back and away. Allow these movements to be, once again, exaggerated. Feel the movement through your spine as you round and arch. Let your shoulders move from towards the ears to touching behind the spine. Great job. Go ahead and find a little bit of stillness in your seated mountain or your tabletop. And we'll take a spinal balance. So we'll start by sending our left arm alongside our ear, reaching it out as long as we can. And then we'll start to take the opposite leg, the right leg, and we'll send that out long. Now, if you're seated on the chair, you're welcome to either leave that foot on the floor, maybe engage the core just a little bit, engage the thigh muscle, bring it up. Great job. And if you're taking it from the floor, your hands and toes are reaching in opposite directions. We're balancing the hips, we're balancing the shoulders, we're engaging through our core. And then let's find that rounding as we bring our elbow towards our knee in front of our body or under our body if we're in the ground. Take this at your own pace, extending opposite leg and arm, and then rounding and crunching. So it's really just an exaggeration of that cat-cow. Great job. Last time, extend it out, hold for 3, for 2, for 1. Go ahead and bring your foot or knee to the ground if it's lifted. And we're going to take and then drop your hand to the mat or your leg. And we're going to take a little bit of a quad stretch. So if you're in the chair, go ahead and scooch that right leg off and then take it into a half heroes. Go ahead and curl the toe or tuck the toe, whatever feels good for you. Or maybe even grab that back ankle. If we're in our tabletop, we're going to take that same knee that we had just extended. We're going to kick it up towards the ceiling. And then bring the heel towards your hip. There you go. And if it's available for you, you can take that opposite hand and reach it back to grab the foot. Great job. Exhale to release. Tabletop or seated mountain. Let's take the right arm alongside the ear and extend the left leg. Spinal balance. Engage your core. But at any point, you need a little energy with your breath. Come back to that breath we practiced at the beginning of class, letting the tongue come to the top of the mouth in an audible exhale. Go ahead and take your knee to elbow. You can take it at your pace, fast or slow. Last one, extend for 3, for 2, for 1. Go ahead and bring hands and knee or foot to the mat. Get ready for that quad stretch. So either half heroes, take the foot back, or capture it with the same hand. And then on the mat, we'll take that same foot, start to kick it up towards the ceiling, maybe scrunch the heel towards the hip, And if you're feeling steady and want to take that right arm back and grab the ankle or foot or wrap your strap around it, these are all great options. Great job. Exhale to release. First on the floor, we're going to come into our hero's pose. Coming back to sit on our heels. You're always welcome to add a prop, tuck the toes or untuck the toes. We'll come into that straight spine. From the chair, we're going to come back to our first side of our half heroes. So go ahead and scoot back over to that right side and take that right foot. We'll then all start to circle our hands up and overhead. Reach them up, find some length through the torso. And with our next exhale, begin to drop the right hand down the back of the head or to the spine. You can capture the hand, the wrist, the elbows, or even bring that strap in between your hands if you'd like. We're taking a cow face pose here. Our goal is to keep our spine straight as we get all of these stretches in different parts of our body. And if you took the toe tuck and at some point it feels too intense, know that you can always come right out of it at your own pace. But it can be a really nice stretch on the bottoms of the feet. All right, one last breath here. Exhale to release. If you're on the chair, go ahead and shift to the left. Bring that left foot back. And then as you're ready, we inhale, arms up. Exhale, lower left arm, finding our cow face. Great job. Exhale to release. Great job. From the mat, we're going to come back into our tabletop, but then bring our left hand directly under our face and turn onto our left knee, extending our right leg out long for grounded side plank. From our chair, we're actually going to come up to standing and start our standing practice here. Bringing either your chair to a surface that's a little more sturdy. For myself, I like just coming up to the wall and kind of having a little bit of a lean on that arm. Tap the left arm. All right, no matter where we're at, let's start to extend our top leg and point the toe away from us. And then take our top arm and start to extend it alongside the right ear or alongside that top ear. Now, as you press into the grounded hand, maybe you find a little bit of a rainbow arc through your outer side body. Great job. Now, if you're feeling steady where you're at, maybe do a side crunch and bring your top elbow towards your top knee. Extend it back long. Again, if you're feeling steady, you can either stay with either of these first two options, or similar to that kickback, we're going to bring our heel towards our hip and reach back towards with our hand towards our foot or ankle. You can even just grab your pant leg, or if you're a strap user, a strap could come in great handy here. Great job. Exhale to release. Come through center, and we'll set up for second side. Right knee planted or right foot, right hand planted, side plank on the opposite side, extending that outer arm up. And then as you're ready, taking it alongside the ear, pointing fingers and toes in opposite direction. Find a rainbow arc through the outer side body. Crunch elbow to knee if it feels stable. Send it back long. And then take the quad stretch, bringing the heel towards the hip, maybe grabbing the leg, pants, strap. Again, all of this is optional. You can skip it all. Exhale to release. Exhale, let's all come up to our mountain pose, standing. Taking a moment, settling in. Let's inhale, circle arms, reach them up and overhead. We're going to bring our hands as close together. They can touch or be far apart, but as close together as feels good while taking the elbows out wide. So we're getting this really open-hearted position, a little bit of tension in the shoulder blades. And then drop your right elbow towards the floor. Come back through center. We're going to take our side bend the other way. Left elbow bends towards the floor. Inhale through center. We're going to keep our elbows wide, but we're going to press our palms forward as we hinge and forward fold. We're going to paint the wall in front of us with our hands. And then let them come down to our prop legs or the floor. Keeping a nice generous bend in those knees. Inhale to halfway lift, straightening the spine. Exhale, hinge and forward fold. And then either keep your hands where they are or grab opposite elbows, but take a little ragdoll, shifting left and right, shaking your head, sliding your jaw, lifting your heels or your toes. Finding a little shimmy or shake. And then we're going to find a little bit of stillness. And we're going to take 3 of our breathing exercise breaths today. Bend the knees deeply, sink the hips, take a slow roll, coming all the way back up to your mountain. Letting hands rest by your hips. All right, let's go ahead and take our right foot back. We're going to come into a high lunge here. We're going to keep both knees lifted but bent. Our hands can stay on our hips. They can come to a prayer. They're always welcome to hold on to our prop or our chair. Or maybe you send both up high into the air. Feel like you're squeezing your thighs, you're engaging your core, keeping your spine straight. Beautiful lunge. Our next inhale, I want you to straighten that front leg. If you don't have a prop in front of you, bring maybe a couple of blocks on either side of that front leg. Because as we exhale, we're going to hinge into a pyramid pose over that front leg. Great job. Bend through that front knee. Inhale to bring it back into your crescent lunge of choice. And then we're going to take it into a gentle back bend. Either our hands or just our gaze starts to come back a little behind our head. Great job. Exhale to bring it back forward. And now we're going to come into a lizard lunge. So we're going to bring our props inside of that front foot, that left foot. And we're going to start to let that left knee maybe turn a little to the side and sink it in. You can keep both hands planted, or maybe keep the right hand planted, and just like that, thread the needle, start to twist the front hand back and open as far as you can. Great job. Bring it back through center. Inhale, bring it through a lunge. And then we're gonna take it into just a little bit of a balance. So we're gonna lean our torso forward and take our hands, one or both back for airplane lunge. Beautiful job. Now we're gonna transition to a chair pose, taking our back leg and stepping it next to our front leg. Feel free to hold on to your prop for support. Now you're in airplane chair. Inhale, tall mountain. Great job. Bring it back through to mountain pose. And we'll take that sequence on the second side. Step opposite foot back. Finding our high crescent lunge of choice. Lining up ankles and knees. Straight spine, shoulders are over hips. Inhale, straighten front leg and hinge pyramid pose. You're feeling it strongly in the ligament of that front knee. Don't forget to add a gentle bend. Inhale, we return to our crescent lunge. And this time add a little back bend of our choice. Inhale to bring it back in. This time we find our lizard lunge. Hands come inside that front leg to our prop. We start to walk the front leg to the side. Let us go into it a little bit deeper, as deep as feels good for our body. Keeping opposite hand planted. Twist your lizard lunge. Exaggerating your open just a little bit more than normal. Exhale to release, low lunge. And then inhale, airplane lunge. Find that balance. When you're ready, start to transition from that back foot into chair airplane. Beautiful job. Inhale, take it up, tall mountain. Exhale, bring it down, regular mountain. Take a moment, maybe with the eyes closed, noticing the energy and sensations throughout your body. Inhale, arms come up, wide elbows, fingers towards each other. Lean to the right. Back through center. Lean to the left. Back through center. Keep the elbows wide, but paint the wall in front of you as you hinge into your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bend the knees, sink the hips, roll up to standing. We're going to take a balance challenge, so feel free to widen your stance or have something close by for a little moral support. We're going to start to lift our right knee up to about hip height. You can always hold the knee or hold behind the leg or bring it onto a prop or hold it with a strap. Lots of options. Alrighty, from our standing staff, we're going to start to bring that foot behind us, bring it towards our hip and maybe capture it with our hand, our pant leg, or our strap. Taking it into that quad stretch. All right, releasing it, bringing it back forward, and then this time send it out long, standing staff. Great job. Slowly bring it down to the ground. We'll take that on side two. Inhale, left leg up. Take your moment. Find your spot on the floor that's not moving. Great job. Bring it back. Quad stretch. Transition forward. And then maybe send the leg out long and have a little bend in it or straighten it all the way. And bring it up high or keep it low. Slowly lower to the mat. Great balance challenge there. All righty. Let's take it through one more sequence of flows before we move to our cool down. We're going to start first side, step left foot back, warrior two. Sink into that front knee, spread the arms wide. We're going to take our back hand to our back hip, to a prop, or down the back leg. So we start to circle that back hand, front hand overhead, reversing our warrior. And then inhale through your warrior two to come to side angle. Front hand comes to a prop, to your knee or to the elbow as you circle back hand overhead and start to make a straight line through the back body. Beautiful job. Inhale to bring it back through warrior two. We're going to find a little transition of balance here. You don't have a prop in front of your front leg. Maybe bring one about a foot or half a foot in front of your front leg. We're going to start to reach down a hand to that prop. And your prop could be your chair. It doesn't have to be a block. It can be a chair. We're going to bring our hand to that prop in front of our front leg. We're going to start to stack our wrists and shoulders in a straight line. You can keep your back toes on the ground and lift the heel, or maybe start to lift the leg up to hip height. We come into our half moon pose here. All right, we've been playing with this pose all day. Feel free to grab that back ankle and bring it towards your hip if you feel comfortable. This is called sugar cane pose. Extend it back out, half moon. And then we're gonna be mindful of that extended foot. We're gonna step it down into a wide-legged position, five-pointed star. Great job. Bring your left hand to your right hip, your right hand to your left hip, or maybe bring it down to your thighs, knees, or ankles, depending on your body, or your chair, top of your chair. All of these are great options. All right, we're going to start to find a little hinge forward wherever we're at. And then we're going to start to take that top elbow, peeling it away from our body. This will invite a little twist, an egg beater twist. Great job. Let that elbow come back towards the body. Take the bottom arm, bring it over top of the now bottom arm, and then start to lift that elbow away from the body as we find our second side of egg beater twist. Great job. Exhale to release back into your forward fold. Inhale, five-pointed star. Reach it up. Great job. Exhale, step it in. Find your mountain pose. We're going to take it side two. Step right foot back, warrior two. Settle in. You got this. Drop the back hand, reverse your warrior. Inhale through warrior two, side angle. Great job. Inhale back to warrior two. Now we're going to make that transition to half moon pose. A prop about a foot in front of your body. Hand comes to meet it. Back toes lift or not. You can even rest your lifted leg on a prop if that feels like it's a good support for you. Find a spot on the floor that's not moving. You're doing great. Now you can either stay here if you'd like to take sugar cane, bring your heel towards your hip. Great job. Send it back. Half moon. And then step it into your 5-pointed star. Great job. This time we're going to bring our toes in line with our heels. And as we exhale, we're going to bend into our knees, finding a prayer squat. Hands can come to your heart or stay on your prop. And feel free to lift heels, find a little bounce. Anything that helps you settle into this will really work on keeping your spine straight. For our next 3 of our breathing exercises, as you exhale with that audible sound, see if you can sink it in a little bit lower. Great job. Now you feel it. 5, 4, 3, 2, inhale, 1, 5-pointed star. Go ahead and bring it back into your mountain. And then we're going to bring it down to a seat. If you're taking chair poses today, for this last variation of movement, go ahead and bring your seat a little closer to either a wall or maybe a couch or something, piece of furniture nearby that you can use as part of your practice. And then if we're coming to the floor, if you like to sit with something under you, maybe a pillow would be a better option than a block. We're going to be getting a little rolly here on our tush. And you can also use a wall if you'd like, or strap. First, we're going to find a boat variation. So if we're on the floor, and keep your feet on the floor, and start to take your torso back. Keep the feet on the floor. You can lift them. You can straighten them. You can even prop them up on a wall. Or, like I mentioned, bring that strap. We're engaging our core. The chair boat looks just a little bit different. We're seated in our chair in a seated mountain. We bring our feet back just a little bit so we're on our toes and our heels are lifted. And then we start to bring our arms up to shoulder height. And then instead of hinging back, actually hinge forward. Feel those abdominal muscles engage here. We're going to hold this for another 3 or 2 or 1. Go ahead and release, coming into a comfortable position for your abs. All righty. Now we're going to go into our big toe pose. Seated on the chair. This is where that wall is going to come in handy. We're going to kind of lean back on our chair, our hips forward, and then take our feet as wide on our wall or a piece of furniture as we can, but we're in a bit of a V shape here. And on the floor, we're taking a similar pose. We're on our hips. We start to lift our feet up, either on the wall, using a strap, or you're always welcome to just grab those toes or feet if that's part of your practice. And if this feels too much on your abs, maybe roll back onto your back and take it from that orientation. So we have lots of options for our big toe pose here, our V-sit. Last breath wherever you're at. Go ahead and bring your feet down. And then let's find a legs up the wall variation that we can hold and sustain for just a few breaths. So on the mat, you don't have a wall, you could bring a pillow or a block under your hips. And then send your legs up into towards the ceiling. If you do have a wall nearby, bring your hips as close or as far from the wall as feels comfortable. Lifting legs up, toes can be flexed or pointed, or again, you can go back wide if you want, or even bend the knees. And if you are taking this from our trusty chair, similar, you're still keeping your back, hips forward, and then just bring your legs up a little straighter if that feels good, but you can also keep them bent. And anytime I take these reclined chair poses, I like to bring a pillow behind me, adding just a little bit extra support for that lower back. And then it could feel really nice to maybe circle your hands and let them support your neck or head, whether you're on the floor or the mat or the chair. You could also let your hands rest on your body. You could bring maybe some added weight, like a blanket, to your abdomen. Maybe if you like something covering your eyes, you could go ahead and start to settle and cover your eyes. I'll take just a few quiet breaths here, giving gravity time to allow our bloods to circulate down from our toes, through our extremities, into the heart and back. One last big, beautiful breath here. Now, as always, if you want to just stay in legs up the wall, you are welcome to finish your practice here. If you'd like to come out of legs up the wall, start to bring a bend into your knees, hugging them down towards your torso. And then maybe roll to one side if you're on the floor, or bring your feet to the ground if you're in the chair. We'll move ourselves and give ourselves some space from the wall if we're choosing to come off of it. Still stay in that reclined position. Let's start to hug our right knee in towards our chest. Give a few ankle rolls, points and flexes, any movement through the ankle that you'd like. We're going to take it into a twist, so shifting the hips towards the right as we take that right knee over towards the left side. If you're seated in the chair, you might want to cross that ankle or knee, or just simply keep the knees stacked in that direction. And if you're on the floor, the same goes through. You can cross, you can keep one leg straight, you can bend both knees. It's up to you. Try to keep both shoulders on the mat or on your chair back. And feel free to add any props anywhere that needs support. Maybe your eyes close, or maybe your gaze softens. You chose to take the twist, go ahead and untwist. Bringing second knee in towards your torso, finding ankle movement of your choice. And then as you're ready, shift the hips. Twist second side. As we exhale, we'll unwind the spine. And we'll find ourselves moving into our final resting pose, if we're not there already. Those of you who chose to stay with legs up the wall may already find yourself prepared. Please add pillows, blankets, sweaters, or socks. Anything so that you can start to really find a little bit of comfort here in this moment. Maybe you allow your eyes to close or your gaze simply starts to soften. Losing focus on the world around you. We'll start to get into a steady breath. Breathing in, filling the lungs, and then exhaling out. We'll take 2 more just like that. And then on this next breath, let's revisit our breathing exercise for one last round of cycles, allowing the tongue to rest on the top of the mouth. There's a slightly audible exhale, like we're fogging up a mirror under our nose for 3 rounds of breath. That last one, allow your breathing to return to its natural rhythm. Start to feel your body as it relaxes into this space of safety that you've created for yourself today. We'll end today's practice with some guided imagery. As we picture in your mind, quiet retreat in the mountains. This may be a place you've been to many times before, or maybe it's only here in your imagination today. But right now, you are in a cozy cabin in the woods. And out the windows, you can see the sparkling, snowy landscape. Maybe your cabin is on a mountainside, and maybe it's surrounded by trees or rocks. As you walk closer to your window, what do you see out of it? Are there huge rocks towering high above the cabin? Trees all around? Or maybe a valley or a meadow? You notice a crack in between a couple of rocks. And as you look at it, you notice a trickle of steaming water. The snow all around this trickle has melted, exposing the gray rocks on either side. And you notice the trickle flows down to a natural hot springs pool. Imagine that maybe you're wearing sandals and a warm robe or a hoodie, or an outer layer over a bathing suit of some sort, preparing to go out into those hot springs. Maybe picture yourself opening the door of your cabin, feeling your hand on the handle as you turn it, stepping out into the snow-covered steps. As you safely but briskly walk along the path, some of the snow touches the tops of your feet. It's so cold. Maybe you even feel a tingly, almost burning sensation where the chilly snow touches your skin. But you carefully continue to move towards the water, seeing the steam rising from the hot springs. There is so much steam, and the air around you starts to get foggy. And then you reach the side of those hot springs. Where they have melted all the water around them. The spring is perfectly clear and made of the most perfectly smooth rocks. Maybe you imagine taking off your robe or hoodie or warm outer layer, laying it on a dry rock where the snow has already melted. And you step out of your sandals and into the steaming water. The water here at the edge is shallow and only ankle deep. After feeling the cold snow, this water feels so warm on your feet. The air around you is still cool, and maybe snowflakes start gently falling. To get relief from the cold, maybe you step a little further into the hot spring. The rocks making natural seats in the warm water. You could sit down in the water, which rises to a comfortable level on your torso. Feel the luxurious warmth all around you. Your hands and feet, which once felt tingly and hot at first, eventually settle into a pleasant feeling of warmth. The water is just the right temperature. As your feet rest on the smooth rock bottom. Maybe you lean back against a gently sloped stone side of the pool. Maybe you sigh. Can you allow your body to completely relax? The warmth of the water surrounding you. Maybe letting your arms rest at your sides, floating just a little. They feel heavy, relaxed, and at the same time, weightless. Maybe you feel calm, pleasant. Maybe you are relaxed. Can you feel the gentle water against your skin, gently moving? Feeling the occasional bubble tickle your skin as it brushes against you on its race to the surface of the water. Feel the warmth all around you, the hot spring soothing your muscles, the coolness of the air and snow on your face and forehead. A pleasant contrast to the hot water. Letting all your stresses escape into the steam, drifting away. It is so quiet here. The only sound is the quiet trickle of the water. Feeling your muscles relaxing even further. You are completely warm, deeply relaxed. And maybe you allow a smile to spread across your face as you enjoy the beauty of the hot springs around you. As we take this last moment, our relaxing meditation together, we'll know that we can come back to these hot springs at any time we wish by simply allowing our mind to go there. But as you're ready, start to leave the hot springs, bringing your body and mind back into the space that surrounds you, noticing the surfaces that are supporting you, and the temperature of the air in the room you're actually in. We'll take the deepest breath of our day so far as we come back into the present moment. And then as you're ready, begin to wiggle fingers and toes, flutter your eyes open, and in your own time and in your own way, join me in an upright position facing me. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a great week ahead, and that you know that even when you don't think you are, you're always making progress. Thank you. Have a great week.
Namaste.